You lost for words? Welcome to a new video. Today is all about the BMW M3, or better known to its mates as the Beamer. From a nation who are happy enough to walk around with their bits flopping around, they are good at making cars. When I think of German, I think of sausage, porn, World Cup and a reliable motor. Is the E46 manual coupe the best M3 that BMW ever made? The problem with these cars for a collector is they're a good reliable daily car, so it's difficult to find one with low miles. Most of these have way over 100k on them. The next problem with these cars is the numbers are always decreasing. They're really big in the drifting world and in the modding world. They're a really good racing car, so trying to find one standard is getting more and more difficult. On a positive note though, these things are increasing in value all the time. So the collectors are looking for these things and they're going up and up. I nearly bought one about 5 years ago and I didn't, and it was a mistake because now they have nearly doubled since when I last looked. You can get these in the SMG, the auto box. Nothing wrong with that in particular, but the majority prefer the manual. You can also get them in a convertible. Again, nothing wrong at all, but the majority prefer the coupe. It's a shame they never did a touring also. Would you have bought one? Comment below. This is a manual coupe. It's got 73,000 miles on, so they're getting hard to find, especially with a full service history and paperwork to back that up. So why are these cars so collectible at such a relatively young age? Sit tight, enjoy the ride, and hopefully I will convince you to buy one. To start with, this car, the M3, is 35 years old. So throughout the generations it's been refined, improved, it's just got better and better, which makes it the most successful car BMW have ever made, and many of you sitting watching this may have even owned one. There are 6 M3 generations: the E30, the E36, the E46, the E90, the F80, the G80, and this one sits right in the middle. If you type into Google which M3 is best, this is exactly what it says. Critics generally say that the best M3 would be something from the E46 generation, more specifically a 2006 model with manual transmission, competition pack and no sunroof. The E46 had everything that makes a BMW M3 great. Pretty much exactly what this is. So the M3 USP. It's convenient, it's comfortable, it's racy when you want it to be, it's reliable, it's German, and also if you get the right one you can make some money out of it. Sounds a lot like Jane, but she's not German. So the M3 has never been a supercar beater. It wasn't designed for that, it was more about the handling. This car can make an average driver feel like a superstar. If you Google it and have a look on YouTube, most of the drifting around an island is in one of these. It's illegal, but really good to watch. First came the E30. Now that was 1986 to 1992. It was very square and boxy. It looked like it'd been drawn with a ruler. But one really special thing about that car is it didn't share many parts from the other things in that generation. So basically they specifically made that M3. No expense spared. This wasn't just a car with some extra bolt-on bumpers. It dominated touring car races. It was a great platform for the start of the M3 phenomena. But if you want one, they're about 100k. So unfortunately, that ship has already sailed. Next, the E36, 1992 to 1999. A great car, a big step forward. And the later models had the 6-speed gearbox. 0 to 60 about 6 seconds, so this car is no slouch. And it also had much more technology, Vanos. Now these cars as a collectible are about 30 grand. So again, they're going up and up in value. E46 next, 2000 to 2006. Again a step forward. These cars were getting really reliable. The comfort, the technology was going up and up. Now really interesting is this car, for a good collectible, low mileage, good history, is about 40 grand. So it's already more than that E36. E92 is next up, 2007 to 2013. Now this, in my opinion, is the best looking car. Very pleased on the eye. But the big thing about this, the V8 4 litre. Now that sounds beautiful. I'm not going to go much more into that because we will do a full episode on that car. It was expensive to run, but when it sounds like that, you just don't care. Next, the F80, 2014 to 2020. A very modern...
Ignore me, I'm not here.
every single time, every single time. So this was a twin turbo, the naturally aspirated had gone, so really that isn't everybody's cup of tea. But the stats: 430 brake horsepower, 550 newton meters of torque. That's 38% improvement on that E92. 0 to 60, 4.1 seconds. And finally the G80, 2021 till now. My neighbour Ryan had one of these and I was lucky enough to have a go in it. I loved it. It's got a drift mode which gives you a score. I don't need any encouragement. A lot of fun with that dangling carrot. The look's a bit like Marmite. Not everyone's cup of tea, but every time I see it, it gets a bit better. And let's face it, 50% of this population love a grower. So the BMW M3 exterior looks. When you see one of these in your rear view mirror, you usually slow down because it looks like an undercover cop car. The BMW M3 kidneys, and of course that bonnet with that bulge in. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And also the slits in the side with the M3 badge. But what's really good about this is those arches. They're big, bulgy, looks quite angry, but it's still subtle. And I think that's why this E46 is so iconic. The M3 alloy wheels are lovely, but you had to have a locking wheel nut because they were prone to being stolen. And that badge, the M3 in the colours, that is totally BMW Motorsport. One common complaint about this car: in the boot, apparently they're prone to cracking. It's a really common fault. Look out for that when you're buying one. The pillarless doors are lovely on the coupe. Now the interior, obviously it's very analog, but that's because it's old. And these seats are lovely, really comfortable, lots of bolster support, but they do look like a bit like you're in an expensive cinema. These rear seats actually fold down, which is a really useful thing, especially if you need a new ironing board. This M3 steering wheel, I do love the colours on the stitching and also somewhere to rest your thumbs. Very, very racy. And these clocks, it really matches the car. They look really sporty, especially for back then. On the dash as well, we also have this variable red line. It's digital, and this was the first one which saw that. We also have a sport button. It doesn't give it any extra power, but what it does is hugely increase the throttle response, and you can actually feel the difference. And this sat nav, it was really good in its day, and it was a necessity for selling the car, but now we have mobile phones and Waze, so I can't imagine you'd ever use that now. And this sticky stalky out bit here is an indicator. Now rumour has it that BMW drivers don't know this is there, but it is actually a function. And this manual gearbox, that's a necessity for me. The SMG, I've never driven one, but lots of people complained that it was a bit confused on what gear it's in. The clutch pedal, all about that for me. Really old fashioned, but a necessity for me. And a manual handbrake. We all love a manual handbrake. I like that, that makes things easy. And the bonnet stops up, unlike Ken's car. If you haven't seen that, look back at the other one, RX43. 3.2 litre inline straight six, normally aspirated engine, 6-speed manual, 1550 kg weight. 0 to 60 was 4.6 seconds, but let's go more into this engine because it was a revelation. So 3.0 engine, but 340 newton meters of torque. So that's over 100 newton meters of torque per litre. Now to give you some sort of idea what that was about, a Porsche Carrera 911 996 had less power. This is becoming a standard part of the channel. Number 7 this time.
That woman looks a bit confused. I don't think she's going to turn it.
What are you doing, pump 7?
There we go. This one's got indicators, look. That's probably an insult to half of the viewers. It definitely wouldn't set the world record on a drag strip, but it has got enough power. You put your foot down and it's there, and you can use all of it, which is really nice, that it's not got too much, like a lot of supercars and a lot of expensive sports cars have. It's very smooth. You know, it's a sports car, it's a fast sports car. You know, you can see why people do use them as a daily and why they have got so many miles, because it's nice, it's comfortable, seats are lovely. Obviously we're on normal roads now, public roads, so we're not going to go mental. I need my licence for work, but it feels like it's ready to go. It feels racy. And it spins. Oh, I'd love to go around this island sideways. Like, this car is getting on for 20 years old, and it definitely doesn't feel that way. Sounds lovely. Gear changes, clutch, really, really smooth. It doesn't feel like it's really 73,000 miles, that's for certain. But that's a testament to German technology and engineering, which, let's face it, that's what they're good at. Oh, I love doing these videos. For me, mid-2000s was the best era for cars. There is a little bit of electronics on this, but not a lot. You know, it was all about driver input and natural ability. You know, you didn't have much help. When you did get it wrong, you'd end up in a ditch. There was nothing really to back you up. But that's what made, you know, people a good driver, because, you know, you had to do it yourself. Big difference today. And this ESC button, obviously it turns the traction control off, but on this car, it actually works. It cuts all the electronics and you're by yourself. That button usually is useless. It tells more lies than Jeremy Carl's guests. But on this, it works. It definitely feels solid, planted, ready to go around these corners. Steering's really, really direct. This really is a B-road champion. So just pulled up at my mate Desi's from IDS Transport. Yeah, he said to give him a shout when we get here, but I've got an idea to get his attention. Honestly, I can't even describe how easy that is. You don't have to be a great rally driver. It just does it by itself. This car is worth every single penny. The enjoyment is massive. Love it. Drop me a thumbs up, some likes if you want to see more. I think you've just pressed it, so I'm going to do some more now. I love this channel. Thank you, everyone. I want, with your help, to do the ultimate M3 generation test. So obviously we've got the E46 covered, but if you've got one of those cars of the other generations, standard, not even an exhaust or an air filter, let me know. Give me a message on Instagram, that's Mark McCann 64. So these cars can be all about money, because you can make money. They're only going up. Please don't shoot me if they do go down, but why would they? They're only getting less and less, and they're such a good car. So if you've got some money to invest, do it today. Do not miss this boat. I am convinced this is only going to go one way, and the CSL in this has already gone, and the E30 beyond most people's reach. Get in there, get a great investment. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, because I've loved driving this today. Click the like, hit the notification button. If you haven't, please subscribe. Remember, same time next week, Tuesday, 10 AM.